Hello everyone, it's Sean from TaekwondoSean.com, and today we're going over falling down. We've got the mats out, we're gonna learn how to fall hard, kind of like save ourselves from a huge impact. Check it out. All right, so step one, make sure you guys stretch and warm up properly, because especially with body defense, where we smack the ground, we're really gonna impact some joints. So you wanna make sure your shoulders are really stretched out, your chest, your back, your core, your butt, your feet, your ankles, your wrists, everything has to be stretched out so we don't get hurt, especially when we're falling down and you would normally get hurt. Now let's start. There's a premise for body defense and rolling. Some students, some practitioners think that it's totally separate. Rolling is this thing where we do in demonstrations, we jump over people, we do flips and that cool stuff. And then body defense is something like emergency, you know, like we fall down and we have to protect ourselves. When in reality, there are two sides of the same coin. Front body defense, back body defense, side body defense, falling, jumping, smacking the ground really hard is actually like the emergency. It's like the e-brake, the emergency brake. When you need it because you're already falling and there's no way to tuck and roll, you use the body defense. Whereas if you have time, like one foot still on the ground maybe, or you have time to tuck in and put your hands on the ground first, you can roll to negate a lot of the impact damage and use that to help you stand up. So we'll be going over it more during the video, but the main thing is both of these are helping you fall. One is just a nicer way to fall, and the other one's like more the emergency. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with front body defense. So step one, just like we teach the beginners, we're gonna have our hands, our fingertips, all the way down to our elbows are gonna hit the ground at the exact same time. Anyone that knows anything about surface area and spreading out impact force knows that the greater the distance that smacks the ground, the less each individual square inch has to take. So you want to make sure that when you do your body defense, a lot of your arm hits the ground at the same time so that it shares the load. Okay, so our hands are up like this. We're going to turn and make our nice triangle shape. We're going to turn our head so we don't hurt the front part of our face. We have a lot of very important organs in the front of our face. Our nose, our eyes, our mouth, our chin. Everything in the front is very important. So we want to turn our head to the side. Not to say our ears are not important, but it's better if we turn our head sideways when we fall. So from here, we're going to key up first, so we square our body ready for a fall. And then we smack the ground. Now, you want to make sure the impact happens at the same time. You have a nice, strong triangle shape, and your shoulders are over top of your elbows as much as you can, so you can stack the joints and make it more structurally stable. Okay? Now, that's level one. So we key up, and we hit the ground. Level two is actually going onto our feet like so, putting our hands up, and then we're going to put it into two parts. Key up, and then shoot our legs out. Now this is the final product of the front body defense, even up to the more advanced level. So from here, I make sure my shoulders and my elbows are in line, my hands are making my triangle, my head is turned sideways, and my legs are off the ground. No knees on the ground, only my toes. And then my hips are slightly up in the air. And then the next level, we're going to be standing up. So we tell our practitioners you can start from the apkubi, the front stance, and then you put your hands up, you key up, and you just move this leg back. No jumping. And then we fall. Now, the next level is you do a slight hop. So you start in this position, just like the first level where we stick our legs out separately, but you're going to jump and everything's going to hit the ground at the same time. So we key up, and then we land like so. All right, so front body defense is the one that you're probably going to use the most if you fall down. Because most of the time we're going up the stairs, down the stairs, walking forward, running forward, jogging forward, or we get pushed from behind because we can't see the danger, right? So we're usually going to fall forward. But some of the time we're going to fall backwards too. So back body defense, you're going to end up in this position on your back, your feet straight up, head off the ground, arms hitting the ground like this. We want it about 45 degrees, and we want to make sure that we stop the backwards roll so we don't roll onto our head. And then from here, we can choose to do the back roll if that's what's necessary in this situation. So to get to this, level one, we teach our beginner practitioners. We cross our arms, we tuck in our chin, we key up, and then we go back and hit the ground. And then we come back, try it again, and come back. Now the next level, when you're doing it with a little jump, like the slightest hop, as you're coming back, you want your hands to hit first and then your back. So you want to almost cushion it like this. Now again, it's that surface area idea. If when my back hits the ground, I have from my fingertips all the way, plus my upper back, plus my arms, it's going to spread the damage a lot more and cause less damage to any particular place, okay? So with the little hop, we're gonna jump, kick our feet up to help us rotate onto our upper back, and then we're gonna smack the ground. Remember, we have to key up first. Number one, so we strengthen our body, so that's ready for the impact. And number two, so we don't bite our tongue. That'd be very unfortunate. So we key up. One more time. We key up. And come back. And then, of course, the more advanced you get, the higher you go. Now, when it comes to side body defense, we're going to use it even less than back body defense. So the majority of the time, it's going to be front body defense because that's how we move. And then back body defense, a little bit less. And then side body defense, even less than that. I think the only time students have ever used, practitioners have ever used side body defense is like the young ones when they're going from monkey bar to monkey bar and they fall sideways, or skateboarders, or cyclists when they're doing tricks, stuff like that. So the main thing is we still have to know how to do it, but kind of like a seatbelt in a car, who knows if you're ever going to use it. In side body defense, there's a concept. We're going to have one arm straight, one arm bent, one leg straight, one leg bent. So what I mean is I have my leg here is bent, my leg here is straight. Now the same arm, the one that's on the ground, so the side of my body that's on the ground is going to stay straight. And then the other feet and the other arm is going to be bent. So I'm grabbing my belt, my knee's bent. Now I could also be covering my face, I could also be making a fist, but for all sakes and purposes, to make it simplified, I'm going to grab my belt. And then, of course, we could do the other side, knowing the same concept that the side of my body that's on the ground is going to be straight. So the leg that's on the ground, straight. The arm that's on the ground, straight. The leg that's not on the ground, bent. And the arm that's not on the ground, bent. You can see the concept, right? And so from here, with the beginner practitioners, we can begin to roll from side to side. So for example, I'm here, I'm going to roll this side, and then I switch. I bend this side of my body, I straighten this side of my body, and then again, and again, and so on and so forth. And then you get better by throwing your legs up in the air. So from the side here, I throw my legs up, and I fall, up, and I fall, up, and I fall. And that's the beginner practitioner. And then we start to stand up. Now, standing up, you can start with your knees bent so you're closer to the ground, and you're going to grab your belt. And this side of my body is going to stay straight because I'm imagining somebody is sweeping this leg. So I hit it like this, and when I do, it goes straight. This arm stays straight, and then hits the ground. Again, straight and bent. Now try the other side. This arm and this leg, they're going to stay straight, right? So here I go, straight, straighten, and fall. Now again, bend, bend, straight, straight. We see the concept, right? And then, of course, you can stand up a bit taller, and then you fall, and so on and so forth. Now, with body defense, you need to be able to stand up quickly as well, okay? So front body defense and side body defense are very quick to stand up. I'll show you what I mean. If we fell down in a self-defense situation in a front body defense, we can jump up, almost like a burpee, where we just jump up and we put our hands up like this. So you can practice that. Again, one more time. I enter my front body defense, and then I can stand up right away and be fast and quick to be able to defend myself. And then side body defense is even more interesting. So when I enter my side body defense here, the hand and the foot that are on the ground are the only parts of my body I'm going to use to stand up. So from here, I'm going to stand up using this foot, this hand, and I put my hands up. I'm ready to defend myself. And the other side, same thing. Remember, I have my arm straight, leg straight, arm bent, leg bent. Now, the hand that's on the ground, the leg that's on the ground, I can stand up using that side of my body to get up quickly. Because remember, when we fall down as a striking martial art, for all intents and purposes, we want to be standing up and kicking and punching, right? So make sure, once we go down, not only do we practice going down, we practice coming up as quickly as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed following with me today. Of course, the main takeaway, when we fall down, forward, backwards, or sideways, we want to be able to fall properly and stand up quickly and properly as well. And then look for the next rolling video where it's going to be a more pleasant experience going close to the ground and standing up again. All right, train hard, and we'll see you guys on the mat. hope you guys have enjoyed falling down with me today. I'm gonna say I fell in love with it.